Welcome to the Reese Report. I'm the mouth of the North, Andrew Reese, and I am back for what's bothering me or bothering us. Because you see, I need my weekly therapy session. And even though Jose Carlos Gomez is here and he's going to help me through it this week, we're missing Gil Santos. And Gil Santos left us to go watch the Leafs. He should be embarrassed. He's a Devils fan. He went to go watch the Leafs play the Sharks, to cheer for the Sharks. He should be embarrassed. So please comment, like, subscribe, and tell us what you think of his sorry ass. And we will handle this with the two of us. Okay? Now I'm gonna start with John Hurd. Canada has not been to a World Cup since 1986. They came in, they played great against Belgium. They had 24 shots on target or on goal and a bunch on target. They had a lot of chances, lost the game 1-0. What you do in that situation is you don't say F Croatia because you're a new kid in town. You got to respect the teams that you're playing, especially when they have legends like Luka Modric on it, okay? So all you did was give them bulletin board material to pump your ass. John Herdman needs to learn a lesson here. Shut up and respect your opponent. All you did was write a check that your team can't cash. So John Herdman opening his big mouth bothered me, okay? Now, we did get the first goal, but you got about 89 minutes to defend. That wasn't going to happen. But they played well. Canada gave it a really tough try. They can still cause problems for Morocco, and I hope they do. But John Herdman, smarten up. Get a hold of yourself. Keep your emotions in check. And hopefully next time you'll still be the manager when we host the damn thing. Okay? Now, I'd like to just say this is not what's bothering me, but it's just something I want to say. To Chris Letang, I really hope you're okay. You had a stroke today. It's your second stroke of your career. I hope that you're not just letting everyone think it's okay when it's not okay, because I know how players are and they want to just act like it's okay and you're going to be back. Listen, take your time, take care of yourself and your family. Don't come back and rush when you had a stroke. We saw Bret Hart have a stroke. We saw what it did to him. It ended his career. Thankfully, he's walking around. He's still good, but I hope you're okay. Take care of yourself. Scary thing to happen out of nowhere, and I hope you're okay. So that doesn't bother me, other than the fact that my Penguins are going to be without their all-star defenseman for a long time. Now I'm going to get to Kyle Shanahan, and this is where Jose and I are just going to go off. Jose, this offense has struggled all year. You can't even disagree with that.
They have some games that they played well, and
okay, they beat some bad teams. Okay, I understand that, but when they've had they've struggled on offense for a majority of this season, despite having the weapons they have. Now, as much as I'd like to blame that all on Jimmy G, it's not all on Jimmy G because he hasn't turned the ball over the last 3 games. This is on a conservative approach of Kyle Shanahan because he's afraid of who's at quarterback, and I've had enough of it. The 49ers are not going to win playoff games 13-0. I know they did it last year against Dallas and against Green Bay. I just don't think that's going to work. It's not going to happen. They're going to run into a team that's going to overwhelm them offensively, like Kansas City or maybe Miami this week. Now, the play calling is way too conservative for the weapons they have. If you're going to bring in Christian McCaffrey and you have Debo and you have Kittle and you have Ayuk, who is Jimmy's favorite target, finds him all the time, then you've got to be a little more aggressive with the play calling. They didn't have to be last week because they played an embarrassment of a team in New Orleans. But this week against Miami, they're going to have to be more aggressive or they're going to lose. Do you disagree, Jose?
No, not at all. Like I was telling you, I think the play calling has got to change. I think he's got to be more aggressive. I think it's just too much dinky doink bullshit, whatever that he does. And I think he's just got to open up the more of the playbook and just let it loose a little bit more. I know Jimmy's not the best throwing quarterback of balls and stuff like that, but there's other plays out there that they can gain a lot of yards, get back to those screen passes and stuff like that to Debo's and Ayuk's and run after the catches and stuff like that. I just think he, when they get to the close to the reds, like to the end zone, like they had a first and goal inside the 5 last week, and they didn't run the ball. He just kept throwing the ball. Why? You have 2 running backs that are solid back there. Run the ball. Yeah. Is that your game? Keep running it down their throat. And I just don't understand. Like that I didn't understand the whole play calling. And then you have a 4th down, and
Jimmy runs it.
another passing thing. It was meant for Kittle, but he fell down. And then you have poor Jimmy G with 3 defensive guys right there in front of him, not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then he had to take the sack or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's got to be a better play calling than that.
Yeah. Like, I understand why Kyle's doing it. It's because he's afraid that Jimmy G's going to turn the football over or he's going to overthrow guys, and he does. But you can't run an offense like you're afraid of what the quarterback's going to do. Jimmy G's going to turn it over. If I understand when you call an aggressive football game, he's going to turn it over. But in this game this week, you're going to have to take some chances because Miami's not going to score less than 20 points. At least I don't think they will. So we'll see what happens there. But Kyle, I realize that you went with a different quarterback and he's hurt right now, but you're going to have to let Jimmy go. And if he makes mistakes, then you're going to have to live with them. But you can't be this conservative, and you're not going to win 13-0 this week. So, and the defense will get tired. There's going to come a point where if you keep going 3 and out and you're not scoring, your defense is going to get tired or injured like they did earlier this year. So smarten up and call some more aggressive plays with the weapons you have. Jeff Saturday. Oh, this is for Tony Barbosa. Hey, Barbosa, are you still celebrating that hire? Are you still happy? I don't think so after that disaster. Okay, you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are awful. Okay, they're not any good, Pittsburgh. They have a decent defense. Their offense is horrific. You lost to a rookie quarterback. Your boy Matt Ryan, another 2 turnovers. A disaster again. A turnover on the goal line. Fumbles on the goal line. Cost your team the win. And then Jeff Saturday with a chance to win it doesn't call any timeouts. He has 3 timeouts, doesn't call any. Yeah, I think he should go back to ESPN, my friend. Sorry to say. That was not pretty. That was not good. People want to get on Nathaniel Hackett. That was worse than Nathaniel Hackett. So smarten up, Jeff Saturday, unless you want to be Jeff Monday and go back to ESPN, then you better smarten up because you're not going to keep the job doing that garbage. But unfortunately for you, you have a probably injured Jonathan Taylor or not 100% Jonathan Taylor, a very average receiving corpse, and Matt Ryan's your quarterback. So I don't know how much I can even blame Jeff Saturday. The team's a disaster. So did he fix the offensive line? I guess. That's about it. Now, this one is for Jose and for everyone out there who hates Lionel Messi. What are you going to say now? All you people that say he never scores any big goals, I want you to watch that replay against Mexico when the team was going to be out of the tournament in the 60th minute, when they had nothing going, when Mexico was playing great defense and trying to stop them at every turn, playing for a 0-0 tie. And what does Messi do? He only needs a half an inch. A half an inch they gave him, and he throws a 20-yarder into the corner. A perfect shot to give Argentina life and
what
hope.
happened today? What happened today when the penalty shot happened against Poland?
I knew you were going to ask that. Here's what I got to say about that. Number one.
What happened? Where was he? Where was he all game?
Are you going to let me answer? Are you going to let me answer? Okay.
Yeah,
now let's go. Let's go to tape. Number one, that was not a penalty. That was a
100%.
ridiculous call. Completely ridiculous. Now Messi sold it, right? But for the ref to even go and look at that in a replay and think that's a penalty shot, that's a joke. That was not a penalty. Number two, Szczesny made a great save. This was not a bad penalty. He made a great save. Messi put it in the right spot. This guy got his paw on it. He's one of the best penalty savers in the world. Made a great save. So I don't think that was a choke job. If he threw it over the net, okay, it's a choke job, but he made a great save. Now, I watched this game in full. Messi was not bad in this game. He made great plays throughout the game. He just didn't score. He wasn't innocuous. He was leading the attack. The midfielders came in, scored some great goals. This was all Argentina. This entire game was all Argentina. They owned this game. They controlled the ball. They kept the ball. They were toying with Poland the entire game. They could have had 4 or 5 goals. This was the real Argentina. This is the Argentina that can win the entire tournament. That doesn't just rely on Messi to score all the goals. They were incredible today. Now, I just wanted to say that Messi scored a big goal. He gave the team hope, and they've been great ever since that goal got scored. That was my point. Okay? Now, we'll see how Ronaldo does, but as far as I'm concerned, and I talked to this about Jose during our preview show, if Portugal is going to win the World Cup, guess who their best player is going to be? Bruno Fernandes, not Ronaldo. And what has happened in the first 2 games? Bruno Fernandes has been by far their best player. It's not even close.
I've been saying that since God knows what time. So you know that. I've been
call me a hater if you want. Call me a hater if you want.
Previous show, I said that before the World Cup draw. I told you already. if Portugal's to win it, it's going to be Bruno Fernandes or Bernardo Silva taking
And
them there.
Bruno has been outstanding and has pretty much been responsible for all the goals. Maybe except
100%.
one. But yeah, the Ronaldo penalty, which shouldn't have been a penalty. That's the only goal he wasn't involved. But all the open play goals have been the Bruno Fernandes show. He should have had a hat trick in that game against Uruguay. So Portugal, Pepe looked really good, by the way. I want to point out Pepe, he was great in the second game, leading that defense, clean sheet, all that. That was good. But I just said, Bruno's got to be their best player. I'd also like to point out that Manchester United is going to be just fine. Have you seen Manchester United players in this tournament? Marcus Rashford doing step overs and scoring goals by himself. I think they're going to be just fine. Bruno Fernandes has been probably the best player in the tournament. He looks just fine. I think United's going to be just fine without Ronaldo, people. So stop panicking, okay? Let him go to Saudi Arabia and get his 120 million because that's the only team that's come with an offer so far, okay? So that's what's bothering me this week. I feel better. I've breathed. I feel better now. I've gotten off my chest. So now, Jose, feel free. Go. Oh, one more thing. One more thing sorry, Jose, before you go. There's no excuse for Jose missing our game last week. The fact that he was in Buffalo bothers me. But go ahead.
I was in Buffalo because I had to take care of these special. I had to take advantage of these Boxing Day special, Black Friday specials that
it
they
still
had.
Bothers me you weren't at the game.
I had to, man. It was when I got all my Christmas shopping done and made the wife happy and wasted less money than I was supposed to. So everybody's happy, right? So that's a check on my list over there.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's one less headache.
All right, go ahead, Jose.
Besides that, what's bothering me is I don't know if you watched that reporter, that Iranian reporter against. I was asking that question against the guy from the States.
U.S. Yes.
Dude, listen. First of all, what is your job as a reporter? Is it your job as a reporter to worry about how these players pronunciate your country, or are you talking about the Black Lives Matter or women's rights? This is soccer, dude. I understand that you have your politics in your countries and you have your beliefs and disbeliefs and this and that, dude. You're talking about a soccer game. You're not talking about this guy. What is opinions on Black Lives Matter and this discrimination, that, dude. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about a soccer game. And now that the guy pronounced Iran, whatever the hell it is supposed to be, like every country says it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, so why are you hating on the guy? Because all this guy was trying to do is cause shit. So then the player loses his mind and say something stupid or something like that.
He handled it well.
Like, he did, actually. He handled it perfectly well, like a true professional, and he made the reporter look like an idiot because the reporter wanted him to say something else, and he said a totally different answer. And I respect that for him. The other thing that's bothering me, I understand everybody was hyped on Canada. I understand everybody was hyped on Canada. But I told you in the preview show, Canada has lots to learn, lots. And this is their first tournament. They have an amazing young core. They're going to be back with the next World Cup. They're going to cause trouble next World Cup. I can guarantee you that. But they have no midfield. They have no midfield to play against Belgium. They had no midfield against Croatia. And then your coach, on top of it, like you said, tells you F Croatia. Dude, like, why would you? I understand it's in the hype of the game and you want to hype up your team and stuff like that, but you don't do the same to a country that just made it to the World Cup final 4 years ago and with a team that's loaded like Croatia. Honestly, you guys played very well, like probably against the weakest team in their group. I think it's Belgium. Honest truth. From what I saw from the other games, Belgium looks like the weakest team, and they're going to be out this game against Croatia. Croatia is going to run them, and they're going to freaking kick out Belgium out of the World Cup. I can see the way they're playing. Against and their defense is just too old and they're slow. And you can see the counterattacks the goals that they were allowing. It was just their defense is slow, and they scored their first goal. That was their objective. Tomorrow, I don't see them doing anything special against Morocco. I think Morocco needs the game more than they do. So Morocco is going to come out as a different animal. So that's one thing. I just think Canada. Everybody was hyped on Canada. I understand this first World Cup and this and that, but come on, let's be realistic. They had no chance. Like with the midfield and defense that they have, attacking wise, I think they have enough. Like they can play with anybody because they have the attacking players, but midfield and defense weak. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Next, back to Messi. Messi, the Argentina was to expect. They got upset in the first game against Argentina.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, sorry, they got against Saudi Arabia, and then they just the next two games they showed the class that they are. I've always said that Argentina was going to win the next two games and they were going to qualify. There was no way Poland, Jesus Christ, I don't think Poland even had a past midfield like controlling the ball like
They had one
any
chance the entire game. They had one chance the entire game.
Yeah, it was a total dominance by Argentina.
And Mexico was brutal too.
Oh, Mexico's game was awesome. I watched it actually. Like they deserved to qualify as well, but the last goal they were trying to score the last goal and then they got a hit on the counter attack. But
yeah,
that was a disappointment. That was a little bit disappointing. I'd rather have Mexico to the next round. They're a fun like young team too. Poland, I don't think they're gonna do anything special.
Poland they're gonna get pumped by France. They're gonna get pumped by France. So,
but yeah. And then back to what else is bothering me. What else is bothering me is like my 49ers. I just think what's bothering me was the stupid comments by Mostert and Jeff Wilson. I understand you're still sour about being traded and let go and stuff like that. But dude, this organization, while your ass was injured, they were still paying your salary and stuff like that, right? So have some respect for the team. You know what I mean? Of course, that didn't work out. We gave you an opportunity to go somewhere because we could have released your ass and stuff like that. At least we traded you guys to a good like football team. And then all these guys that are ex 49ers, they're probably going to be excited to play the 49ers this week. But it's not. But sometimes it's better watch out what you say because sometimes this is just going to be on the chalkboard. And these guys, especially that defense. Once you talk shit about a team like that, that defense is gonna want to beat you up, man. And I won't be surprised if they go after Raheem Mostert and freaking Jeff Wilson after this game, a couple of shots here and there. But
for those who don't know, what did they say? For those who don't know, what was said?
Well, they were talking about mostly about how they have a better quarterback right now, and that Jimmy G, whatever, he's better than Tua is better than Jimmy G, dude. Like, okay, he's better. That's just keep it to yourself and to your team. Why do you have to go on an interview and say that, like, make it public? And then you go back and say, "Oh, we didn't mean it that way in a bad way. We just meant it that our quarterback is better." Man, get out of here.
Yeah,
that's just you now being like a little idiot. First you say one thing and now then you say another.
Come on, at least Tyreek Hill when he said Tua is more accurate than Mahomes, he stuck to it. He never changed his mind. He was 100%. Like, no, he never backed up.
The man of his word.
Yeah. So.
What else bothered me was last week I missed my ball hockey game, first game of the playoffs, but you guys took care of business, so I'm happy for that. You guys won, so whatever. Let's try to on Friday night. Let's try.
Lino would like you to know that he was Lino DeSalming in your spot.
Oh, here we go. Lino DeSalming. He's a fucking Hart Trophy. This I'm don't worry. I'm already used to it. Don't worry. I'm already used to all the nicknames, all this and that.
Yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what's bothering me. That nothing else.
Okay, so to go off what you said, I talked to my wife about this Iran thing. Apparently, it's a big deal to their people, how you say their name. Now, did the reporter have to call it out? No, but apparently it's a big thing that they want their country name being pronounced right. So I think that the reporter had a hard on because he heard him say it wrong and he probably got pissed and said, "I'm going to call this guy out." But apparently it's a big deal.
Now you can go home and write about it on the newspaper next week when the States are playing in the knockout stage and his team is at home.
Yeah, but great job, by the way, by the 22-year-old American. Great job. in
Yeah.
response. De Bruyne on Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne before the tournament basically said we're too old, and he's right. They're too old. That's
It's not. I mean, it's not even that they're too old. I just don't think they have players in form. Right. That's the
Dude, they're
problem.
starting
A lot.
Hazard. If you're starting
Yeah.
Hazard,
Exactly.
where are you going? How are you? You got Lukaku's
Yeah.
hurt. Hazard hasn't played in 3 years. You're playing those guys. You're not going to get the other Torgan Hazard. He's playing in some team I'd never heard of. Like they're playing a bunch of guys that aren't even relevant anymore, other than De Bruyne. They had Alderweireld and the old defense there playing that aren't even playing in the Premier League anymore are starting for them.
For
Yeah,
Tongan.
like
Yeah.
they're going nowhere. I think Morocco's going to run them over. Sorry, not Morocco. Croatia's going to
Croatia. Yeah.
run them over tomorrow. But that's the thing. De Bruyne knew coming in that they were cooked. So it doesn't surprise me what's happened to them. And Morocco was full credit for that victory over them. And then what the hell did I write here? What was the other thing you talked about? Um,
What, Canada.
well, we talked about Herdman and what he did. Um, Canada's goal is to get better for 2026. That's where they
Yeah.
want to show up and be good. You saw this with Ghana and Ecuador as well. They are going to be better because they have really young teams. They'll be much better in 2026. Same thing goes for the States. The States have the youngest team in the World Cup. They will be better in 2026 than they are now. And it's going to be like 40 some odd teams too. It's going to be a mess that next World Cup. So, um,
And ladies and gentlemen, I've been 6 for 8 in my predictions for the next knockout stage, so I haven't been doing that bad.
yeah, I
So
think
watch the preview.
I have a chance for two of my four upsets coming up. We'll see what happens. Japan has a chance. Korea has to beat Portugal, which is not going to happen. So they're probably going
Well,
to be out.
I can see that happening because Portugal is not going to play with nobody. I
Yeah,
think they're
that's true.
resting everybody.
That's true. They could rest everyone.
They are resting everybody.
I
I
mean,
don't see them playing.
we saw France make 9 changes and lose to Tunisia. So yes, South
Yeah.
Korea could still qualify, and I believe my other upset could still come in. Iran, I see. I just did it. I said Iran. Iran should have beaten the U.S. They had a lot of chances to tie or win that game. The U.S. was lucky to win that game 1-0, so they did a good job. And Saudi Arabia is out. So, but not bad. My upsets gave me a lot of hope. So I'm not too disappointed. I didn't pick Canada because I thought they were outclassed, and they were outclassed, at least by Croatia. We'll see what happens with Morocco, but I never thought they'd beat Croatia. Not in a million years. Belgium, I thought they had a chance because Belgium just I think they're overrated, but
Yeah.
not Croatia. Not Croatia's I picked Croatia to go to the final, guys. So I wasn't picking them to beat Canada. So or Canada beat them. So yeah, so that's what's bothering us this week. Um, it also bothers me that Gil's not on this show, and we've mentioned this, and we'll have to have a talk with him on Friday and work that out. But
He's another Leaf fan in the closet that what doesn't want to
mm,
come out.
I mean,
That guy's been to more Leafs games than he's been to the Devils. So please
I mean,
save me and all the bull crap and about the
yeah,
Devils, this and that. Ah, please. Oh,
yes,
he's another Leaf
yeah,
fan in the closet. He's coming out
yeah,
slowly too. I think he's liking the Leafs the way. I think right now the Leafs are gonna be like his Devils. They're gonna go on that winning streak, show him how it's done. Yeah, we'll
yeah.
see.
One more thing on Canada before we go. John Herdman's loyalty to his players is great, but you have to be careful with that because when you start a 39-year-old Hutchinson who can barely move, you're going to have to think about that next time you play these teams. You can't start a 39-year-old defender and hope that he's going to be able to run the whole game. Um, like I just don't. I think he's going to have to think about that. They have athletes on Canada, use them, and you may have to think about playing a little less aggressive because you're going to get countered all day by fast teams. So especially with midfield. So I mean, they just picked them apart. I mean, the goals that Croatia scored, they were easy goals because they were just caught on defense. They just had to throw it across the center of the field and just easy goals
Yeah,
for them. One was a very nice goal. The second goal was a nice goal where he got in tight and put it in the corner. But yeah, they just were outclassed, unfortunately. So that's what's bothering us. We did a little World Cup there as well. I'm hoping that we'll cover more of the World Cup after the games are official and we go into the knockout stage. We'll do our knockout stage preview, and we'll see who we like then. The way that it's setting up now is different from the way we picked it, so that changes things. We have the U.S. now are going to take on the Netherlands is taking on
U.S.
the U.S. Yes,
Yeah.
and
And like
Argentina.
I picked the
That's
U.S.
right, you
safe
did,
all
you
the way.
did. So the Netherlands plays the U.S. We have Australia playing Argentina, and we have
That's gonna
France.
be, oh, Jesus Christ! I can't
Yeah,
believe then that's another thing that's bothering
the
me. I
big
can't believe
upset.
that
Yep,
Denmark. What a disappointment! Like
big.
with the team that they had, and you telling me you can't beat Australia and or a Tunisia team? Come on, man.
You know what
That's
that was,
that's
Jose?
disappointing. That was
They
the disappointing.
they didn't have the heart, the whole emotional aspect of, playing for their captain who had a heart attack in the middle of the field. And they just didn't have that same intensity that they had when they played in the last tournament. So, and they paid for it. They paid for it. We've seen upsets already. So
Australia, you know what? Like even the way they play hard. That team,
yeah,
they play hard. Like the games that even against France, they took France to the limits. Only lost 2-1 against them. They beat Denmark.
yeah,
I believe they tied against Tunisia as well. So no,
yeah.
they won
They
Tunisia.
they won 1-0.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's that team's not going to be easy.
No,
Argentina is going to win. They should win, but
they
it's
have to
going to
work
be
for
they're
it.
going to challenge
Yeah.
Argentina. They're going to challenge.
Yeah, you have to. I think every game in the knockout stage you're gonna have to work for. It's not gonna be easy.
Yeah,
And
100%.
Argentina, like I almost it's easy to say now, but when you lose to a team like Saudi Arabia, it's a big wake up call. And Argentina got the message, and they showed us their teeth in the last two games. Um, and I when I say dominant, I mean they were completely dominant the last two games. I mean, I don't even think Martinez faced a shot in the last two games. So they're firmly in place. Brazil, I wasn't overly convinced by Brazil. Casemiro with an absolute rocket to win that game against Switzerland, but they haven't been overly dominant. I feel like they need Neymar if
It
they're
was
going
hard. It was
to.
hard that last game
Yeah,
against Switzerland
yeah,
when Switzerland was defending with everybody behind the ball.
yeah,
Those games are always hard to
right,
play again.
yeah. Like
So,
no
but
team has really stood out to me as the favorite to win this tournament. Argentina maybe today, but like no team has really said we're the best. Like France hasn't looked overly convincing. Portugal has been okay, but not like, superstar we're the best. Brazil hasn't been overwhelming. Even the Netherlands, like none of the favorites have really been overwhelmingly great. Do you have a team that has stood out to
not really. Not
you? No.
well. Like Brazil's been, I guess, if to up and down, they've always been attacking wise. They've they've
They've been
played
great
probably the two
defensively.
hardest,
Really good
and yeah,
defensively. Yeah.
they've played the two hardest teams in their group. So and they dominated the game from start to finish.
Yeah.
So, but like show wise, no, they scored 2 goals against Serbia, 1 goal against Switzerland in the last minutes. It's not
Hmm.
like it hasn't. Just been even. I think all the games
Hmm.
have been like hard fought games and stuff like that. It hasn't even the Portugal game against Uruguay. Uruguay had a chance to score 1-0 right away in the first half.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Diogo Costa big save,
Yeah.
the guy dicked
Absolutely.
out the whole. They
Yeah.
dicked out the whole team, and then even at the end too, the Uruguay hit the crossbar, hit the
Hmm.
post.
Yep.
Suarez inside the box missed the net. Like
Hmm.
it's just it's
Yeah.
just one of those type of
Yeah.
games. Like it's been even games.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, England has looked impressive, but the competition tells me that I'm not sure about them yet.
they
Um,
haven't been tested, really tested. Like they tied against the States. They beat
yeah,
Iraq and
right,
Wales. Like they're not. It's nothing special. Like
right, right.
we'll see. We'll see when they play against. Who are they playing? I believe
Uh,
they're playing Senegal. I think I'm telling you right now,
Senegal. Yep.
Senegal's gonna upset England. That's my upset for the next stage. Is going to be Senegal beating in
I'll, I'll say this: Senegal's been very impressive. Without Mane, they've been very good, very, very
They have
good.
a good team. They have a
Yeah,
solid team, guys. They
yeah,
have a solid team.
yeah.
They're fast. They're
Yep.
good defensively. They have good midfielders. They have
Yeah.
good players. Like
I gotta say, I love their coach. He's totally nuts, but I love watching their coach run up and down the field with his
yeah,
with his dreadlocks. He's
yeah.
his crazy eyes. I love that coach. And
Yeah.
he basically told there was a role with the goalie, and he basically said, "Hey, you're not with us, get out." And he benched him for a game without any hesitation. He said, "Anan, you can go sit down. If you want to be with us, you can be with us, but otherwise, go sit down." So I like that about him. He was running that team, and he's going to keep the team together. I like that. So watch out for Senegal, man. They beat France. That team's very dangerous even without Mane. If they had Mane, it'd be really something. But we'll see. There's a lot to be decided still.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that coming up when the group stage games ends. I think the last ones are on Friday. I believe Friday's the last group stage games, and then Argentina plays Saturday in their first round matchup. I'd have to double check that, but I think Friday the last two group stage games are Saturday are the last ones.
Yeah,
So
Saturday starts the knockout stage games.
right. So we'll see
You'll
if we
have
can. Yeah.
you'll have Netherlands against USA and England against Senegal.
Right. So we'll try to squeeze in a show there before the knockout stage starts. But until then, I'm the Mouth of North Andrews. That's Jose Carlos Gomes, and this has been very therapeutic. We will see you next time on the Reese Report.